A new plan, and I'll tell you some high stakes involved in this proposal. We are talking about a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry here in California alone, where marijuana, of course, is legal. But for those involved doing business legally here, the profit margin is slim, mostly because the feds still see marijuana as an illegal drug across the country. And that's a problem for a lot of folks who do business here, especially this top businessman who says he doesn't want to show his face, but does want to tell you about what's at stake, what could change if the feds have their way. Listen.
It would completely change our business. I mean, our business right now is held back by so many different things.
That from one of the top cannabis manufacturers and distributors in all of California, reacting to a push by top Democrats in the U.S. Senate to join California and other states in federally legalizing marijuana.
The doom and gloom predictions haven't materialized in any of these states. And as more and more states legalize marijuana, it's time for our federal cannabis law to catch up.
And catching up would give marijuana growers already licensed here in California access to what is now off limits because the feds still see marijuana as a scheduled narcotic.
Having to pay your state taxes, your city taxes in cash, having just the opportunity to have banks is one of the biggest things. We could refinance. We can't get loans on our buildings right now. We can't refi.
Important for a multi-billion-dollar-a-year business here in California that now is a cash-only business with absolutely no write-offs.
It's not a gold rush as everyone may think it is, but our profit margins are pretty slim. But if 280E goes away, I can write off labor, we can write off rent, we can write off certain things that, you can't do right now operating as a normal business.
If the feds legalize marijuana, it would clear users to travel from California across state lines without the fear of being arrested.
It has its goods and bads, but, the good, as long as they're using it for good purposes, that's all that matters.
And while the debate moves on, those already in California's legalized pot business predict the end is coming soon for the federal prohibition of marijuana.
It's everywhere. I call this prohibition part 2. I think it's the same thing as history repeats itself. We're going through it again. It's going to become federally legal sooner or later.
Sooner or later, he says, now live, something else involved in all of this. If the feds greenlight marijuana across the country, it would expunge, erase all the federal convictions of those who are already serving time on their nonviolent marijuana arrest. A lot has to play out before it would happen. Congress and the president would have to agree. And still, there would be a problem, perhaps, because the feds could say it's legal. And then as you travel to some states, the states themselves could say, no, it's not legal here. For instance, in Florida, it's not legal. So if you go from California, where it's legal, Florida, where it's still not legal, as a Dodger player found out recently, you still run into problems. The confusion continues. But still, the hope here at this point is maybe the feds will green light it, and that will help a lot of the business in this industry, in this state, move on and relieve some of those restrictions. For now, we're live here in Westchester. Back to both of you.